佢係一個退休教師，熱愛大自然同科學研究。
I always enjoyed studying science and studying religion.
佢雖然唔係中國人，但係對華人有一份好特別嘅情感。
我哋感受到係唔係一個外國人啊，我哋係一家人。
佢真係俾咗我哋有好大嘅鼓勵，因為佢係一個外籍人。
佢有好多興趣，原來喺興趣嘅背後存在住一個愛心使命。
I hope people look at it and realize that nature proves God's existence.
加拿大位於北美洲，係世界上面積第2大嘅國家。呢度地大物博，天然資源充足，既有現代化嘅工業，科技水平亦都發展迅速。另外，大自然嘅風景宜人，四季分明，每個季節都有唔同嘅獨特景色。每一年，加拿大都有城市被評選為居住環境最為理想嘅地方。奧沙華市 Oshawa 係加拿大多倫多市以東另一個城市，亦都係加拿大汽車製造業嘅發源地。呢度嘅汽車博物館裏面可以見證到汽車發展嘅歷史。全盛時期，曾經有1/3奧沙華市嘅居民受僱於呢間汽車製造廠。白約翰 John 同佢爸爸都曾經喺呢間公司度工作過。
Before I was born, the Depression came in 1929, and both my father and grandfather lost their jobs. When the war came in 1939, General Motors was a boon to Oshawa by people coming in to work in the plant and getting jobs, and got busy because they made tanks and airplanes here. Then my dad got this job in Oshawa with General Motors. So he came down here. I enjoyed the community there. I got a job and I went to a country school the first year. So I altogether was in teaching for 33 years. I spent 12 of those years as a science teacher.
從小喺奧沙華長大嘅 John， 佢對大自然同埋科學研究有自己嘅心得。
I usually lived almost always, I lived in the suburbs or on a farm. And so that's why I got such a love of nature. We used to see the animals come in, like raccoons and that at night, or trying to get something to eat. We were all animal lovers. I enjoyed it very much, and there's a monarch butterfly just south of the house. I have these milkweed, and the monarchs can smell them for blocks away. It's amazing. They say some moths can smell a mate a mile away, so maybe they can smell these milkweed, because where else in town here would you find milkweed? At dusk, suck the nectar out of some of the flowers. Different plants fed different butterflies and moths. And so that's how I became interested and loved nature. That interest has been with me all my life. My boss in science, when I was in outdoor ed, had 3 degrees in physics. And he said all the time he was studying, he could see that science followed rules. I wrote a book called Signature of the Creator, Does God Exist? Trying to prove that God does exist. And this summarizes Christianity, in my view of it, something you can read in a couple of hours. And I relate science to it in a simple way. No use getting too technical or you lose people.
佢為咗俾中國人可以睇到，佢甚至請人翻譯為中文，所以佢呢個推動力最主要就係令到全世界唔同嘅族嘅人能夠認識耶穌自己。
I always enjoyed studying science and studying religion, and there was no conflict. I see God's handiwork in nature. I see the handiwork of the Lord. I knew why there was a beautiful sunset, because when the sun is low on the horizon, it filters out more of the other colors, so it appears red.
心中感恩不止息，全地和應頌揚，凡有氣息歡呼拍掌，頌讚歸於全能榮耀上帝，是你恩手創造掌管一切，漫天星宿是你作為，不可猜測估計，神獨有智慧，要彰顯萬世，頌讚歸於全能。
So anyway, I saw all my life, that science showed us proof of God's existence, and I tried to find out why all these things happened.
John 除咗係一位學者之外，佢仲有好多嗜好，包括寫詩、木刻藝術、攝影等等。原來喺呢啲興趣嘅背後，存有一份使命。
So I belong to a rock and mineral club. I belong to a fish club. I belong to a garden club for many, 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 many years. This is my poetry book and my own photographs in it. I was also into photography. And I belong to the Fellowship of Christian Magicians in Toronto, being a clown and helping the outreaches of Showers of Blessing, and I enjoyed that very much.
佢係一個職業嘅教師，咁雖然退咗休啦，咁佢業餘一路佢係做乜嘢嘅咧？佢好多時咧就做啲嘅小丑嘅戲，咁佢都曾經咧係幫助過恩雨之聲咧係做呢啲咁樣嘅短劇。或者係作為一個兒童嘅節目，咁係幫助咁喺呢一方面咧，特別喺兒童節目上邊咧，就幫助咗我哋真係好大啦。
There was a pastor in Oshawa who said, whenever I have troubles, I forget them all as I go down and work on my hobby. And also it helps me to meet people, to witness to them. People who would never go to church, but they have a certain hobby. And if you belong to the hobby club, then you get in with them.
今年79歲嘅白約翰 John 雖然已經退休，但係佢仍然不遺餘力四處去傳福音。
John 佢呢個人咧，咁我認識咗佢將近20年咧。佢對不但止對中國人咧，對啲南亞人，即係啲印度人啊、巴基斯坦人啊咁樣咧，佢都係特別有個愛心喺中間嘅。
After I retired, another ambition of mine was to go into ministry. I have been involved with the Indo-Pakistani ministry too. I started with God's leading a ministry in Toronto, South Asian Evangelical Christian Fellowship, and we've had successful concerts and outreach ministries working with others like the Youngrens.
阿 John 咧有一個好大嘅使命，就係將福音係傳俾係唔同嘅族裔。我好深刻印象就係佢冇呢個族裔嗰個分歧，即係唔會嚟到對其他嘅族裔咧係有唔同嘅睇法，而係相反佢好熱心嚟到幫助。
I had a religious experience, miraculous experience. I had the call of the Lord, I believe, to go and start a Chinese outreach ministry on television.
恩雨之聲喺1987年喺加拿大多倫多成立，係一個基督教福音傳播機構。製作嘅電視同埋電台節目，除咗喺加拿大，仲喺美國、亞洲、歐洲、澳洲等唔同嘅國家以及地區播放，接觸到全球好多華人，同佢哋分享真人真事見證故事。而 John 無分種族界限，多年嚟佢都出錢又出力，默默咁支持呢個機構。
我哋有咩困難嘅時候咧，好多時都同佢嚟到商量交通嘅。
佢係一個英國人嚟咗加拿大，未必係完全識透我哋中國人嘅習俗，咁但係佢咧呢個睇到佢嘅出心，因為佢每俾一個解決方法咧，我哋都覺得佢係出於一個好嘅意思。
喺一個事工裏邊咧，其中重要一環咧就係個經濟。當時恩雨個經濟咧就係相當嘅弱嘅。阿 John 咧喺呢個同我哋籌款方面咧係最主要呢方面工作。佢就會好努力咁，佢自己唔係一個大富翁，但係佢係知道我哋有困難嘅時候咧，就會喺唔同嘅地方分享恩雨之聲異象俾佢哋，然之後咧就籌到一款項。譬如話我哋去呢個香港製作嘅，去英國製作嘅，係好大膽嘅嘗試。阿 John 咧就好努力咁嚟到為我哋籌備呢啲經費。當時恩雨講咧係冇可能喺經濟方面冇可能嚟到做呢個工作嘅。佢除咗喺經濟上面好努力同我哋幫助我哋之外咧，佢喺呢個唔同嘅呢個活動，譬如話我哋嘅晚會啊，我哋特別嘅活動啊，甚至帶隊去嚟到製作去香港製作啦，係佢都去參與。雖然佢唔識呢個中文，但係佢亦都好熱心嘅嚟到參與。
特別我哋恩雨請佢嘅聚會啦，不但止喺每年嘅晚宴上邊，咁喺嗰啲一啲嘅外展活動啊各方面咧，佢如果佢得閒嘅話咧，佢都會嚟。但係咧佢自己揸唔到車，好多時都正一所謂要求人係嚟到幫助佢，咁佢先至係可以去到地方。佢去到啲聚會嗰度咧，佢唔會話特別係所謂想出位，佢只係靜靜地咁樣坐喺一角嗰度。咁所以睇到佢係一個好謙卑嘅人。咁所以睇到咗呢過去呢20年啦，我認識咗佢，但係佢都係一路不辭勞苦嘅咁樣係嚟到喺旁邊係鼓勵我哋、支持我哋而佢嗰個真係出自一個侍奉社區咁樣嘅一個出心係非常之係令人係真係欽佩嘅。
早年阿 John 斷斷續續喺加拿大第一大汽車製造廠工作嘅時候，經常接觸到呢間公司嘅創辦人 Robert Samuel McLaughlin 麥克勞克林。麥克勞克林唔單止係一位成功嘅企業家，同時亦都係一位樂善好施嘅慈善家。佢嘅為人深受白約翰敬重。
I always called them generous motors. And R.S. McLaughlin was a great man. I used to meet him. My first job in the office when I was a teenager was an elevator boy. He always spoke to me and always joked with me. So he was a real gentleman, and I appreciated meeting him. R.S. McLaughlin had made $400 million in his lifetime, and when he died, he had only, at 100 years old, he had only 38 million left. He had given away millions and millions and millions, and he helped the people of Oshawa every time for he put a lot of money into the hospital and into Camp Samak, which was one of the best Boy Scout camps in the world. Besides that, he'd put money into many universities like Queen's at Kingston.
麥克盧克林喺金錢上面嘅慷慨捐助，深深咁影響白約翰。除此之外，仲有一位民族英雄，亦都令到阿 John 深深體會到愛係不分疆界、無分種族嘅。因為呢位英雄，佢甘願遠赴異鄉，將一生嚟到貢獻俾其他嘅民族。
The hero to those people was Dr. Livingston. Well, he was a poor boy. Like Abraham Lincoln, he studied by firelight and became a doctor. And then this David Livingston left Scotland and he was sent over to Africa, where he spent years. He loved these people in Africa. So many of the places named after explorers were changed, but they left his. So when I went to Westminster Abbey, there was his monument there, and his heart was left in Africa. So I also followed the Great Commission, you know, like St. Mark, he said, quoting Christ, we're to go into all the world and spread the good news. Everything was wonderful, and enjoyed it, and an interesting life. So I've been with the Chinese ministry for between 22 and 23 years.
咁所以真正喺對華人社區嗰個心嚟講咧，真係少有嘅。佢真係俾咗我哋有好大嘅鼓勵，因為佢係一個外籍人。咁但係佢特別對我哋華人有呢個特別嘅感情啦。咁所以呢個令到我哋咧都好覺得係激勵嘅。
好感動，因為少少嘅事情咧，原來佢咁關心嘅係最主要嘅原因咧，就係佢係一個好忠心、好忠誠嘅基督徒。
雖然佢唔係一個所謂傳道人，唔係一個宣教士，佢只係一個先生，但係佢個使命感就係要幫助華人社區，係為咗就係要將個福音係帶俾更多嘅人聽到。
我有時喺呢個有一個叫做佢好中意石嘅，去賣石嗰啲嘅。咁有時我去參觀咧，係見到佢好努力個去賣啲嘢，但係佢賣啲錢咧都係嚟到奉獻俾福音機構，係恩雨之聲係其中一個。
由北美走到亞洲，白約翰 John 一心一意將基督信仰、上帝偉大嘅創造向人宣講，將福音信息介紹俾更多華人。恩雨之聲每一集嘅見證故事，正係透過電波、電子傳媒傳送去到唔同嘅地方，所以佢一直都熱心支持恩雨之聲嘅工作。
The thing is that television and the internet reach all kinds of people who would never go to a church. Many of them would never be allowed by their families or friends or their workplace to go to a Christian church. But in the security of their own home, they can be reached. The variety of people who are interviewed by SOBEM, everybody's different. The music and things like that, of course, so that is what SOBEM does. That's why I had the first call for television. The people can see it, and they hear it from people like themselves from different walks of life. I also was enjoying and helping the outreaches of Showers of Blessing.
恩典太美麗，無什麼可取代，唯求將心全然給主，來彰顯主愛多珍貴，終身愛神，傾心傾意愛別人，才覺生命沒有枉費。
I believe that the church has to be a brotherhood of man, brotherhood, sisterhood. I hope people look at it and realize that nature proves God's existence.
同醉於主聖言，來訴說我主恩典。他賜盼望重生的泉源。
So you can sit and look at the clouds and enjoy the trees, and everything looks good.
愛是從神來的，凡有愛心的都是由神而生，並且認識神。John 對華人有一份情誼，全心全意將自己嘅時間、金錢捐獻俾另一個族裔。呢一種無私嘅愛心行動，未必人人可以做得到。由於佢心入面有耶穌基督嘅愛，所以能夠以無國界嘅愛去愛人，到處傳揚福音真理，讓人認識呢位創造天地萬物嘅神。
我喺 John 嘅身上亦都同樣睇到佢主耶穌本身喺佢身上先可以發出呢個香氣，睇我哋感受到係唔係一個外國人啊，我哋係一家人，係佢哋都愛我哋，都愛我哋一家人。
佢真係俾咗我哋有好大嘅鼓勵，因為佢係一個外籍人。雖然大家係相處喺一個多元文化嘅環境裏面，咁但係佢特別對我哋華人有呢個特別嘅感情啦。咁所以呢個令到我哋咧都好覺得係激勵嘅。深入睇佢點解喺呢20幾年嚟，佢都係能夠咁樣係支持恩雨之聲或者支持華人社區。咁而其實咧就係出自一個愛心，而呢個愛心咧就係一個基督嘅愛心。John 佢係基於呢一個咁樣嘅信仰，而佢覺得呢個信仰係值得佢係一路堅持落去。
世界上人人尋尋覓覓，為要尋找真愛。其實主耶穌基督一直都喺你嘅身邊，張開手等緊你嘅回應。請馬上打電話嚟恩雨生命熱線，我哋好願意為你介紹呢一位滿有慈愛嘅主耶穌基督。願神賜福你。
神終會賜我榮美冠冕，終身去栽種神的寵的恩惠，願我一生傳揚福音，來證實主愛何寶貴。請觀看到天，主的莊稼在面前，遼闊收成沒法估計。終於使命，不惜一切來回應，能釋放。